What is the worst case of someone playing the victim when it was their fault? Story 1. A local business owner and friend asked a lot of his regular customers to invest in his new business in Atlanta by buying shares. I bought in, knowing we wouldn't break even for at least 3 years, but that he could sell religion to the Pope. Had losses for 2 years, breaking even at three as predicted. 4 years in, he closes the Atlanta store and opens in another town. But this time he's doing it all with his own money. BS. He's doing it with the inventory and proceeds from the Atlanta store. Even has a shiny new house, cars, and works for his new venture. He's shocked to the core and hurt, I tell you. Hurt and disappointed when all the shareholders took him to court. Edit. Wow, 22,000 likes. Thanks for the gold, the comments, and the concern. Our lawsuit basically never got off the taxiway, and as one of the good Redditors below mentioned, it soon looked like the cost of going through the courts would quickly outpace our losses. People started dropping off and it fell apart. The original store and the Atlanta store were closed. Those bridges he well and truly burned. The final store has changed names but appears to be going strong. No way will I name the business. I don't doubt for a second that while we small potato investors weren't ready for a long court fight, the owner would have no qualms about bringing a defamation suit against me in a heartbeat. Sometimes karma is just asleep at the wheel, and you have to accept it. Opinion. So, using your analogy, you're the Pope, and he sold you religion? Religion being shares of his company, which he then used to defraud you. Story 2. When I was teaching, I had a student I adored who had some behavior problems. I did everything I could to support him. One day we were taking a test and he was talking. I reminded him several times that talking during a test is not allowed, and I would have him go in the hallway if he continued. He continued talking, so I told him to go into the hall. He called me autistic on his way out, which was his favorite insult. So I wrote him a referral. I called his parents and they didn't answer. So I sent an email explaining what happened, that he got a referral, and that I hope we can work together to help him manage his reactions. His mother responded saying that my behavior is unacceptable and that she is done speaking with me, and I will hear from her lawyer. She went all the way up to the district level to complain about me, telling all sorts of lies and making me look like a horrible person. I don't teach anymore. Opinion. A lot of police departments are now wearing body cams for accountability purposes, but it sounds like teachers are the next profession that ought to be wearing them for their own protection. Having an objective recording of what did or didn't happen sounds like it would be a blessing. Story 3. I was in a crowded parking lot, driving around looking for a space. There was one car ahead of me. The car ahead of me stopped, so I stopped as well. I'm not sure why she stopped because there were no empty spaces and no one was pulling out, but whatever. Then before I even had time to react, her reverse lights came on, and she came flying backward towards me. I didn't even have time to honk. She slammed into the front of my car, got out of her car, and started screaming that I hit her. When officers arrived, she was crying and shaking and complaining that her neck hurt, and cursing me for slamming into the back of her car. Thankfully, 2 people had been walking through the parking lot when this occurred, and told the officer what really happened. Later, the driver of the car that hit me tried to tell her insurance company that I knew the witnesses and that's why they lied. I didn't know the witnesses, by the way. At any rate, if the witnesses hadn't stuck around to give statements, I would have been screwed. Opinion. I think everybody should probably put a dash cam on their car for safety. It's a necessity these days. Story 4. My best friend's ex-girlfriend. Basically, her ex was kicked out of her parents' house when she told them she was into women. She moved in with my best friend, since they were dating at the time. At first, she told her girlfriend she was too depressed to find a job. My best friend was okay with that, even if it meant she would have to work more, which she did. She even found a second part-time job. For the next 6 months, whenever my best friend asked her if she found a job, she would always get the "I'm too depressed" response. Eventually, my friend found out her girlfriend cheated on her. Her excuse for cheating was, "You're always at work and never have time for me. I need someone who will be there for me." My best friend kicks her out, and then her ex blames her for having to move back in with her parents. The kicker? Turns out her parents never really kicked her out. She was just tired of them telling her to get a job. Opinion. Yeah. And because of people like her, people that are actually depressed are told they're lazy. Story 5. Sometimes my kids ask me why they've met my mom but never my dad. So I tell them he got unalived a long time ago when I was young. The truth is, my dad used to struggle with alcohol and wasn't kind to us. My mom had to ask him to leave because of the way he treated us. We used to visit his new place on weekends, but when I was about 10, he told my mom to stop bringing us over and gave her a shoebox full of all the pictures he had of us. We tried calling him now and then on holidays, but eventually he told us to stop reaching out completely. Last year, my mom passed away, and he reached out to me, saying he had changed and wanted to make things right. I told him it was okay, filled him in on how I've been doing, and sent him pictures of my kids. I told him I was already a grown man and didn't need a father anymore, but I forgave him for the 20-year absence. He then told me that I was terrible for pushing him away and abandoning him, that he was sick and just wanted to fix things. I explained that it was already forgiven, but that he had walked away, and I didn't have time for his drama. I wish things had been different, but he's too much of a negative influence to have around my kids. Added. A big thank you to everyone for the positive support and encouragement. I hope everyone who has been through something similar can find peace and happiness, despite having tough upbringings. Opinion. You're a good parent and a good person for being firm with him. Story 6. An employee was let go from a coffee shop for a variety of reasons. He had been caught by management calling customers names like idiot and stupid under his breath, and several customers had also reported his behavior. He was frequently late, would leave early, and ask others to cover his shift. Instead of restocking or cleaning during downtime, he would pull out his drumsticks and practice, which bothered both the other employees and the customers. During inventory counts, we noticed large amounts of sandwiches, baked goods, and bottled drinks were missing, as well as the big 5-pound bags of espresso roast. The numbers just didn't add up. He was eventually fired after being caught talking badly about a customer while a visiting manager was in the cafe. He didn't know the manager was there. The guy tried to blame everyone else for his problems. Being late became, I missed the bus or my roommate didn't wake me up in time. Leaving early turned into, I got a call for a gig or I wanted to go to a concert. The missing food became, I didn't have enough money to eat, and it's the company's responsibility to make sure I'm fed while I'm on the clock. Calling customers names became, they misunderstood me. Management replied, what part of calling a customer a dumb is a misunderstanding? Followed by, not my fault they're so sensitive. Basically, this guy blamed everyone else for his problems and all the situations he found himself in. We stopped inviting him out because at bars, he would order drinks, tell the bartender one of us was covering, then leave before we saw the check. He would also sneak around when people were dancing or talking in groups and drink their drinks. He was just a difficult person to deal with. After he was fired, we found out he got a job at a Starbucks in the mall. They failed to call for a reference. Even though our store was listed as a previous employer, he was caught stealing money and food from there too. Edit. I want to add that he was easily our worst employee. We had another guy who wasn't super friendly, but worked hard and was a solid employee. One day he watched the drummer guy treat customers badly and spout off, and turned to me and said, "I hope I don't sound or act like that." Just from seeing the way the first guy behaved, this other employee became a model customer service worker almost overnight. Also, we had another guy there who went by a strange animal name instead of his real name. He was sent home a few times for showing up drunk and was let go after management found out he was sneaking vodka into the bar and adding it to girls' drinks during late shifts. Opinion. What a POS. It's because of people like him that drummers have a bad rep. Story 7. An older lady walked into a construction area where she knew she wasn't supposed to go, just to snoop around when the workers weren't there, and then sued because she slipped on a plastic floor covering. She worked there. She knew the area was off limits. Did it anyway. Opinion. At what point does the justice system go? No. It was your own fault for being an idiot. This feels like it would be up there. Story 8. My friend's sister. She doesn't feed her kids nor send the oldest one, 7, to school. Her neighbors reported her to CPS, and now she's posting statuses about how cruel people are for separating a mother and her kids. Opinion. Not a parent, but I'm pretty sure you're supposed to feed kids. Can anyone confirm this for me? Story 9. I lost a lot of weight, 150 pounds. My overweight friend didn't. I don't care. She's my friend, and I love her. I tried on a pair of size 12, size 8 US jeans, but they were too big, so asked for a smaller size. Before I could try them on, my friend stormed out of the shop, and when I followed her, she screamed at me for rubbing my weight loss in her face. I've been this size for 4 years already. Opinion. What did she expect you to do? Buy pants that don't fit, wasting your money to spare her feelings? Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and activate the bell button to receive notifications to my latest videos.